Howdy, hombres! My name's L.A.zy, and welcome all back to the letter. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Well, it's only been like 1 week since I took a break from like making any main Let's Plays, but beside the point, we finished Rebecca's chapter in the last one, and now we're moving on to Ashton. The reason why I'm more excited for this chapter than anything else is because Ashton has been acting, while friendly, a bit insufferable throughout this whole game, and we actually don't know much about him besides from like snide remarks from other characters and all that. He's been in quite a fight with Rebecca as well, and we're now going to see how that reflects on him and his view on everything else. I also can't wait to see just what exactly spurs him on to be the person that he is. Ash is while I do find him insufferable, he is one of my favorite characters of this game, along with Isabella. Zack is a close one, but yeah, like one of my favorite characters in the game. So, enough yammering, let's get into this. Parties have never been really my thing. There's always such a hassle and takes so much time off my day. Prior plans, commitments cancelled, all for the sake of playing along with others.
Welcome everyone.
Howdy. I hate them even as a child.
Please, make yourselves at home.
My mom often insisted. She'd slick my hair back, put me in one of those stuffy dinner jackets, and if there were any children around, urge me to make friends. Never mind how early, loud, or tedious it was. It was all for the sake of keeping up appearances. To some extent, lies have already surrounded me, long before I've chosen what I want to do with my life. Luckily, there were easy ways to tune everything out. Much to my mom's frustration, I always managed to sneak my CD player along. I kept to myself and to my music, had my own little world, until I learned to observe. It's a simple manner of awareness, really. And for someone with keen eyes, a skewed necktie or a simple flick of wrist will tell volumes about a person. I still don't like parties, especially ones as big as fancies to the right housewarming. However, when there's actual reason to go to them, I figure, not too bad.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Besides, like it or not, it's all part of the job. I'm here on a mission. One that has this name, Luke Wright, plastered all over it. You think the man would want to remain inconspicuous after his name was linked to several high-profile crimes across Luxmore. Granted, most of it have gone cold over the years, having stagnated without any lead or evidence. That still doesn't make him any less suspect. Yet here he is, throwing a party in his own backyard. Although having observed the man this past year, I'm not even shocked. He craves it, the damn spotlight, constantly yearns for attention like a neglected puppy. It doesn't take a genius to figure out why he's nowhere to be found in his own party. But that's not the problem here. What pisses me off is how far his reach extends, how close he has creeped into the lives of the people I care about. Again, like a stubborn itch you couldn't get rid of. First Professor Clark, then there's Isabella. I also spotted Z-Man here a while ago, and now there's also Rebecca, apparently.
Ashton?
Becca, what are you doing here?
I was invited.
Really? I had no idea you were friends with the host.
That explains things. It makes this difficult all the same. As of getting in contact among the staff to sneak a name into the guest list isn't hard enough. The guy almost ditched me last night and might have placed another setback on my investigation, if it wasn't for my generous tip. Then here comes Rebecca, another person to mind.
Well, it's my parents, actually. But that's beside the point. What are you doing here? You hate parties.
I still do. I'm just here on behalf of a friend.
An unnecessary lie. Can't bring my own friends into this any further than what they found themselves in. Because of Luke Wright, so much as harms a hair on either Zack or Rebecca's heads, there will be hell to pay. Worrying about Isabella's brief dealings with him is stressing in itself already. I doubt he'll attempt anything in front of other people, though. It would tarnish his glorious reputation, and he values appearances more than anything. It doesn't necessarily mean he's incapable of it. More than that, in fact. And on the off chance he does something, I won't be responsible for my actions.
That's rare. Do you have someone with you then?
Nope, just me. I won't be staying long.
Well, if that's the case, maybe you and I can...
For Zack's and Rebecca's sakes, however, I really hope this will simply be another housewarming, even though something tells me it's anything but. Call it a detective's intuition or whatever. When Luke Wright's involved, nothing good has ever come out of it. Can't let my guard down here. Even more so when a familiar car slows to a stop and out comes
Chief?
That's your chief! Wow! I see him in a couple of chapters ago, I think in Hannah's chapter as well. He actually heard like the cries of the ghosts in the cellar. My presence here might be odd at best, but I have but I have an excuse. One that this man handled to me himself a year ago, along with a heavy dose of flattery for the newly promoted detective inspector. I can't exactly say the name for my girl boss, can I? Although to see him here, chatting up with looks born as rich and famous, isn't such a big surprise in itself. No disrespect meant, but the guy's obviously a social climber. What's surprising is the fact that he seems all too eager to mingle with a person of interest's wife. Just what the hell is going on here?
Ashton, what's...
Sorry, Becca. I need to... There's something I need to check for a bit. I'll talk to you
So
later.
that's what you're
Do you have a ride home?
No, I had to take a cab here. My car wouldn't start this afternoon. But what about...
What the shit is going on here?
I told you to get that whole thing checked before, didn't I? You can head back with me after this. Anyway, I gotta go. See ya. Be careful, okay?
Hey, be careful! About what exactly?
I don't want to draw attention to myself either. At least not until he's given me proper reason to spoil his little party.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle Lee.
Oh, believe me, Rochelle is gonna have several things to say to you after this.
The doctors again?
For now, the best I can do is wait and remain conspicuous, especially the chief here, whose motives are dubious at best. If it means having to pretend I don't know Zach and Rebecca or forcing myself to rub elbows with people I barely know, let alone like, then so be it. I can't involve anyone. Wandering is out of question as well, when there are guards in civvies stationed here and there. Sure, getting past them has something to do with these, but I'd rather not right now, when I'm one of the few snooping and roaming about. It'd be best to try and do so once there's a crowd of people. And if the interior designer's drunken claims are to be believed?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing.
It'll all come down to how well I'll play my cards tonight. With a good hand, this party is going to give me the breakthrough I need to crack Luke right, or something to prove my suspicions wrong. Maybe find out what kind of game my boss is also playing. I had an inkling before, a few hunches tempered down how much of a bumbling fool the man appears. One does not simply deal with the rights and get involved to a party they host without wanting anything from either of the two. Or it's the other way around. So with a last wary glance at the two, I head into the ballroom. I just hope this will not complicate things further. Shit. Oh yeah, there will be complications, definitely. By the time the party's in full swing and night has fallen, yet there still isn't a Luke right in sight. They can be quite ostentatious, but this? Frankly, I'm impressed. Do you know how many Eau de Ville I've already stuffed my face with? One too many, probably. The servers are already giving me a stink eye every time I saunter over the buffet table. Blame your employer, not me. He's the one who has the guts to show up late. Besides, most of the guests' idle talk is concentrated in this area. Despite standing under the same roof with the very people they're whispering about, some just couldn't resist. I might as well keep an ear out for any useful info.
Is Suarez still fixing that tech problem?
Tech problem. It's been 3 years. Sooner or later, the blighter will put 2 and 2 together.
He might have already.
If the red tape I'm being slammed with these past few months suggests anything, that or someone has been pulling on the strings. I wouldn't be shocked. In this case, it would not have gone this long. Just come back and didn't have a mule or some kind of force.
Shush you, we all know Suarez just wants an out.
I knew he was bad news the day the merger with Evans Incorporated happened. Feh. Glad I did not have to deal with that. But keep it down, someone might hear. The wife especially.
This kind of negligence has always been an advantage. Sometimes I wish I could be smashed drunk while doing this. Having sharp ears also means you get to hear the most unsavory things. Who cheated on who this week? One person's known for bashing someone's skull against the wall, or a father's excuse for burning his own daughter alive. That sort of stuff. Wow, you've seen some pretty dark cases, Ash. After a few years it gets tiring, you get desensitized to it. Humans could also be downright awful. Sometimes there simply isn't enough brain bleach in the world. Sadly, the wine is a no-go tonight, mostly for show. I'm up for another drive later, for one, and I definitely want to be sober in case anything comes up. Something always comes up in assignments like this. A detective inspector dying of cardiac arrest, for example, because I feel the moment my heart grinds to a halt. The second I shift my eyes to a corner of the ballroom.
Hana Wright.
Some say I'm acting a touch bit paranoid, and maybe I am. This is a party and she's the hostess. Those say that she'd take time to mingle with her guests. Hannah Wright Nee Evans isn't without her fair share of accolades. At least to the public, she doesn't seem like it. Unlike her husband, she's the one with the business sense, not to mention the impressive track record needed to manage a company, or effectively hide whatever irregularity there might be. She's clean as far as my agents and I have found, but doesn't rule out a possible involvement in whatever her husband's up to. Even with Z-Man's personal opinion of the woman, her sudden gut feelings really couldn't shake off. Hell, Luke Wright came out clean in previous reports until I bothered to take a deeper look into it. What I found may not be sufficient to bring anyone to trial yet, but it's enough to nurture suspicion. It's maybe a bit of an overreaction, but no one lasts long in my line of work by being careless.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Nothing to be worried about then. She's probably even more careful with appearances than her own husband, having grown up with the spotlight focused on her. Yet even knowing that, the anxiety stays, has been here since the party started. I brushed it off earlier, who wouldn't feel edgy, right? I got undercover in the party hosted by the person I'm investigating. That in itself is risky and has plenty of rooms for error. Usually though, the tension passes around the first half hour or so, but I'm trained to remain composed in situations like this. However, with each second I spend here, it only grows heavier and seeks to overwhelm. I'm not feeling that someone's watching me instead. That's been like this since last week, but I should already be used to this. Am I hearing something? People will be looking at me no matter how small or big of a blip I am on the radar. That's what they do in these meetings. When the feeling of eyes burning to my back lingers longer than necessary, looking around every now and then to catch the culprit, and no luck. Despite my efforts to push the sensation as far down as I could, tiny pinpricks continue to sting the back of my head, and a ghost of a cold touch creeps up my limbs, until my gaze switches back to Rebecca and Hannah Wright. She stands there, dark-haired and dirty, sticking out like a sore thumb. Even so, no one seems to notice. Although she's looking away from me, her mere existence here strikes, disturbs. A sense of tunnel vision binds while I stand stock still and gape at her, like my life depends on making sure she stays where she is. I feel trapped in her presence, until another guest bumps into me, yanking me out of my stupor. Only then do I realize that I've been holding my breath. So you now see him too, huh? Huh, Ash? Before I could figure out what happened, she's gone. A quick scan of the room yields no sign of her. The party continues as if nothing's amiss. I'm not really one to judge, but I'm sure someone like that would have not been allowed in a fancy thing like this. What has the security been doing? Are they really that incompetent for something so distinct to easily get without notice? It should have been an outcry by now, particularly from the host. She's been standing almost an arm's length away from the woman, and she simply continues her talk with Rebecca.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way.
Is there something in the food then? Now I'm starting to see things. It couldn't have been the wine though. Never been as sober as when I first stepped out of my car. Your host Rivero? I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. But why would anyone want to do that? Why would Luke Wright want to do that? He's fishy, but I couldn't see why they ever think it'd be a good idea to lace the food he's serving the party. With someone like Chief Lee on his guest list to boot. He has been linked to narcotics trade, yup. However, that kind of tactics below him. Not much I could tell. Unless there's a mass murder waiting to happen here tonight, which I highly doubt. So,
What the fuck was that?
it's something Isabella and Becca have been blasting your ears off for the last couple of episodes about. And now it's finally your time to believe in it. No time to look deeper into this. Oh god damn it. Deeper into this even if I want to. low-key. Now when the telling silence comes up upon the room and draws everybody's attention to the main doors of the ballroom.
About damn time.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the
Of
party?
course,
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
I've been tailing this guy for a while now. Before that, I heard stories from previous officers who tackled this case, none of which are pleasant. Mind, I'm not counting the incident with Professor Clark, yet pleasant is glossing over the gravity of it. While Wright's good at covering whatever shady stuff he's doing, he's shown to be a really rotten guy. At least that's the case when he thinks none of his peers are around to judge him. I lost track of how many counts of verbal abuse and harassment cases the guy could be pinned with. Fuck, even if you try to make a move in Isabella back in the open house, right in front of his wife, standing in the same room as him doesn't make me want to punch him any less. Actually, they're just stronger, but protocols? In my case, first and foremost. My own opinion of the man shouldn't get ahead of my purpose here. If I want to put him in this place, it should be in the court, with all proper charges filed against him. And I'll only be able to do that once I gather enough evidence to pin this bastard down.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness.
I like how he called him scumbag as well.
So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
And Rochelle is about to pop up. Suppressing my annoyance, I prepare to step away from the crowd. Mr. Cheers and claps now is a good time as they need to move. So I find that's something that McCall will be talking about. In the first place, I have no plans to actually shake hands with the slime ball himself. A fake smile is plastered on my face while I pretend to listen to one of the other guests gossiping about him. I walk slowly inching out of the ballroom. Fortunately, before I could get any further, thought
Are
so.
you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
Rich people won't have two ways to resolve their mess. Either they quietly deal with it behind the closed doors, or they create an even the greater problem out of it and it just blows up in everybody's faces one way or another. Fun.
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
Not even a few seconds in and it's already proving itself to be a big public spectacle. Why spend money on television to buy daytime soap operas? You could just go to one of these parties and see the action unfold in real life and get free food too. Really, if I were an actual guest, I'd just take this as some sort of form of amusement.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
But I'm not a guest who's here for a good time. I need to focus on them, even through this whole sorry tale. So I wait, I listen, I observe. Interesting, isn't it though? That's the chief inspector's wife. October 29th, Saturday. Right after the party. The morning after starts off quiet. Even the whole Salem Mall residences seem unusually still. The open hallway when I step out is devoid of tenants. No sound coming from the other units either. It's almost as if something's brewing on the horizon. A peaceful night's sleep still does wonders for the mood though. Can't even remember the last time I slept without anything urgent interrupting. It's a nice break from all the bad news lately. Wasn't for the insistent buzzing in my pocket waking me up, I'd sleep in. The ringing has stopped before I could move somewhere private, but sleep has also been effectively kicked out of my system by then. Pity, I could use a little more rest, so I have to face the other storm. Of course, I owe Rebecca an explanation. It doesn't matter if it's the whole truth or another hastily spun tale. Although I haven't really figured out how to go about this yet. Unlike Zach and Rebecca, who don't usually ask questions and are content with the little I could share, Rebecca's rather quick on the trigger. It'll have to be set aside for later, though.
Sup, I'm Ash from Deluxe City.
The chief's name stares back at me almost as if mocking me. Sad. It would have been nice to just chill after last night and maybe have listened to the news. Sure, it's the same thing we've been hearing lately. Still beats standing outside in the chilly Wixbourne morning on the phone with my boss. Sighing, I answered, if only to get this over with.
Right? Where are you right now?
Now that's a tone I didn't expect from him at this hour. Just thinking how this will go already gives me a headache. Immediately I reach up and pinch the bridge of my nose to stave it off.
This is why I won't ever drink myself senseless.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief. A pleasant morning to you too.
He's probably calling to rag on me or complain about his wife, She's really none of my business unless it affects my case. It seems like the usual rich man cheats on wife deal. They would have followed up on it if it were somebody else's wife. Figuring the chief's hey, I trust him to come clean if the missus is related to the right's shady dealings. So I left before they even hauled the woman out last night. I'm not going to be around investigating cheating husbands and wives when it's probably just that. Chief appears to have a different idea in mind, though.
There's nothing pleasant in the morning. Anyway, where are you? I told you millions of times before to keep your lines open.
He did, and not only him. Zach, Rebecca, Isabel, all of them said the same things numerous times in the past. But I was undercover last night. The phone call is the last thing I want to happen. When there are other things I need to focus on at the time. Besides, we have radios and work-issue phones. Why isn't he using those channels if this is urgent?
Just woke up, sir. As awesome as it is to hear your voice this morning, it really is early. If you could give me a few minutes just to wake myself up, that'd be swell.
No need for that. This won't take long.
Is something wrong? Am I needed at the precinct ASAP?
Oh no, everything's good over there. Just look, kid. Pray. Don't take this personally, alright? You're off the Luxborn firm case. Starting today.
Well, I did not expect to hear that either. This must be some kind of cosmic joke. Allow some awkward seconds to pass. Chief must be pulling another one of his awful pranks. Out of his bad mood or a severe hangover, maybe? Everyone knows that when given the chance, he exercises no control with his drinking. If it wasn't for his wife causing a stir, he'd probably be trashing an hour at the party. He likely drank more after they threw her out of the ballroom. Besides, his sense of humor has never been good. It's just infuriating most of the time. When he doesn't follow it up, so if I sound a tiny bit frustrated speaking to my own superior, I'm not the one to blame.
Wait, no. What? Are you kidding, Chief? Is this one of your practical jokes again? The temps won't say anything about it, but
It's not that. They're orders. From the higher-ups.
The higher-ups. Yes, my favorite word. Since when did the higher-ups ever cared about what the Criminal Investigation Department did? As far as I could tell, they don't give a hoot if CID is filled with cold cases, as long as we keep them spending low. When I need to view those old case files, though, they're locked away in the archives, so you're gonna have to check with the higher-ups. Need access to these reports? See if the higher-ups will allow it. Every step, every move in this case, there isn't one that hasn't been gated by some authority. It's not the chief, it's the commissioner, or so they always tell me. It makes one wonder why they even bothered signing it to anyone. Not a single one of them has done anything to help move the case. And they wonder why it has taken this long for even a hint of progress to show.
you can't just drop this on me. You can't just take me off like that.
Yes, I can. And I'm sorry, Ashton. You're a good detective. One of the best I've seen in years, but...
3 years, Chief. 3 years.
3 years since that anonymous tech leak blew up. Since Luke Wright's name was openly linked to several nasty dealings within Luxborn's corporate world, some of them involving deaths. 3 years, and I was the only one who made it this far, made much progress that officers with more experience were able to do when they handled this case. Just within a year and with barely any help from the damn brass at that. Of course they'll be pissed.
Do you know what would have happened if I didn't work my ass off on this thing? If I didn't dedicate a whole year of my time on it, it would have gone cold, like every fucking case Luke Wright has been linked to. I saved this from getting thrown into the archives, sir. I'm getting close. If you could just...
I'm fully aware of what you've done, Frey. But the Commissioner hasn't been happy with your progress. Still too slow by their standards.
Oh, really?
Too slow?
Oh, now Ashton was pulling an angry face. Not as angry as Isabella, though.
Well, what about those reports I filed? I've documented every freaking thing for them. I've given you every important lead I can gather. Isn't that enough?
They need results, not a bunch of research papers. Not one baseless assumption after another. Concrete proof, Frey. I'm really sorry. They've already made a decision. They're going to pass this on to someone who's been in the force longer. Someone who has more experience.
Someone who has more experience?
They meant nothing by it, but you're still too young to work on a case this big.
Chief, I've already done more than what those old farts ever did behind their desks. All of it, within just a year of being assigned to this.
Watch your language, Frey. Those are your superiors,
I'm not some damn rookie fresh out of training. I'm as qualified as they are.
Futile, I know it is. They'd never say it within my earshot, but from the very minute I stepped into their precinct, a lot of them had underestimated me. and their stares alone to the assignments I get. To them, I'm still just a kid, too young, too green, too inexperienced. And once they pull that card on me, every argument I have gets thrown out the window. No matter how logical it is, how much I've accomplished, what the record says, or the amount of work I've put in every investigation they throw my way.
We're all aware of your skills, kid. You wouldn't have that badge and rank if you weren't good enough. However, this case is just not for you. Too high profile, too risky to put a good officer like you in harm's way.
Can he even hear himself? The reasoning is odd in itself. No one joins this line of work without knowing the dangers of it.
Don't I get a second chance? You said it yourself. I'm a good detective. It'll just be a matter of time before we can close this.
It doesn't matter what I think, Frey. You're off the case, and that's final. I expect all related files and documents on my desk by Monday morning. And don't even try to go touch anything. I know how hard-headed and determined you are.
Chief, please. A few more weeks. I'll have the proper evidence left on your desk by then. I swear it won't take longer than that.
Fred, it's too late, boy. I've already informed the other officers. You aren't to be allowed access until you've been given a new assignment. Hell, just keep out of the precinct, Frey. Take the weekend off.
Seriously, Chief, is this about last night?
Why? You weren't at fault with it, so why is it about last night?
If this is about me being at that party, I have a good reason for—
You were at the party.
Makes me pause. His worried tone, the sudden careful note in his voice. Slowly a frown forms in my face, my eyebrows knitting together in confusion. Much as I hate to say this about my own boss, there's also suspicion in it. Hard not to think of it, the way seeing how he acted around Hannah Wright last night. Is he worried? Why should he be? Everyone who's anyone was invited. I didn't doubt for a second why he received an invite, and if his presence was questionable. There's something wrong, and I've unintentionally walked into it. All I have is a sneaking suspicion, but when one looks at this form from a different angle, put everything together, why the hell I've been taken off the case might be for the same reason he was there in the first place. Fuck.
Yes, Chief, I was. For a good reason. What were you doing there? I know we don't have a strict rule against attending functions, but that was—
He coughs and almost sounds like he's choking on his own excuses, lies. I don't want to accuse him of anything, yet. He's someone I respected since I joined LPD, even with his bizarre sense of humor and tendency to procrastinate. He's obviously competent enough to get the job done. He wouldn't be Chief Inspector of Luxborn Police if he wasn't. He won't last years in service without some track record backing him. Unless that's too is a fluke? What's backing him is not something, but someone. Oh shit. Fucking hell. Fucking shit.
Chief Harvey, about last night with the—
Why does it matter, Frey? This isn't about that.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? I'll recite the whole damn oath we've taken upon being sworn to service if I can, but at this point it seems too late to remind him of that. He's probably already moved from serving and protecting people to serving and protecting his own interests. Damn it. I suspected the upper brass of this, even the lower ranked subordinates in the force. From my own boss? Shit. No wonder that leak didn't lead anywhere. Someone closer might have been pulling the strings. I might have been set up to fail long before the fucking case had been assigned to me. But I don't want to just give this up. I don't want to believe I wasted an entire year for this. I don't want this to be kind of news to tell Professor Clark after all those promises I've given the man.
I just want to know, sir, at the party, with Luke and Hannah Wright, you were—
Monday, Detective Inspector. First thing in
I
the
doubt
morning.
he's going to talk about, so don't press.
Every copy of the files you have, I want to see it all on my table. Understood?
This isn't—
Frey, am I understood?
What else can I do other than smile and nod? My own superior expecting an answer, using that tone, brushing questions off as easy as discarding a dead body.
Yes, sir.
Cuts the line as soon as the words are out. You're off the case, Frey, just like that. Oh, new updates. Ashton Frey received a phone call from the chief of Luxborn Police. First thing in the morning informed him that he had been taken off the Luxborn firm case. Though his protest fell on deaf ears, some turns of events proved a hunch. Ooh, nice. What does the timeline say, by the way? Alright, we can't get the timeline. Wait, what about the branching tree? How long is it, by the way? Oof, pretty long. Okay then. You're off the case, Frey, just like that. Funny why this still caught me off guard. Discovered years ago how different the actual thing is, how far from reality everything I believed in as a dreamy-eyed kid. There are no high-speed pursuits every day, no thrilling gunfights or exciting cases every step of the way. Only paperwork, lots of red tape, and dealing with the politics and bureaucracy. I've set out to change things, hoping it'll make things better for the people I care about. Ended up changing me instead. Serves me right for being too idealistic, I guess. It's probably the universe telling me that it's better to remain the skeptic I really am. Now here I am, standing useless. Can't even do anything but grit my teeth and kick the wall. The bastard didn't even acknowledge my response.
What did the poor wall ever do to you?
I figures Rebecca will be the one to find me in this embarrassing state. Honestly, I don't like it when she sees me like this. It seems to happen a lot regardless of what I want.
Rebecca, now's not a good time.
The concern I expect from her when I return isn't there, however. Instead, she just looks, well, the storm I left brewing last night. It's right there on her face, ready to be unleashed. The argument they had after the mansion.
When is it ever a good time for you? You're always so busy with everything now. Now I find you here, sneaking out without even bothering with a proper goodbye. Not even a word. Really, I'm starting to think you're just keeping me around for my couch and my cooking.
Becca, it's not what you're thinking. I wasn't planning on sneaking out. I was going to say goodbye. I just had to take this call. Although I'm not gonna lie, couch is great. 10 out of 10. Would sleep again.
Stop it with the jokes, Ashton. I'm not in the mood.
Her bitterness is not lost on me, but at this point, our friendship and our lives, how she still expects me to answer that. Am I supposed to tell her now?
Are you still mad about last night?
She merely raises an eyebrow at me, which, to be honest, is all the response I need. Seeing her like this makes me believe those things Z-Man says, or Rebecca scares him, sometimes. I've certainly seen this more than once already. The familiarity of it doesn't really take away from the downhill turn this conversation's starting to take. Only an awkward cough serves as a way to stall.
Okay, of course you're still mad. But whatever happened last night, I really am sorry. I'll apologize as many times as you want. If you want, I'd even kneel or something.
Ashton, an apology is nice and all, but that's not what I wanted to hear from you today.
Alright, fine, okay. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. I've honestly lost track of it by your third trip to the buffet table.
I wasn't... The drive up there took a bit. Can you blame me if I wanted to grab some appetizers?
Oh, come on, Ash! For the whole evening? For the whole party?
Jesus.
Please don't tell me that's all you did, because I've never known you as someone who pigs out. You even took great lengths to avoid me. Should I also mention how you ignored Zach? Sometimes I get the feeling you don't want to be seen with us in public. Some friendship, huh?
You know it's not like that. It's never going to be like that, Becca.
I'll ask this again. Just what were you up to during the party? What were you doing that you couldn't even take 2 seconds to make time for your friends?
I couldn't even look her in the eye. It wasn't that I wanted to avoid them. I did it to keep Zach safe, to keep Rebecca safe, just in case. Client or family friend, it was still a party hosted by a person of interest, by a man accused years ago of murdering a person's wife to get what he wanted. But then the chief showed up. Hannah Wright happened. The Luke Wright just can't be bothered to die peacefully somewhere. All of a sudden, none of my original reasons mattered. I was found out right then and there. Well, if Zach and Rebecca's connection with me was found out, who knows what might have happened. But Rebecca doesn't understand that. Doesn't understand what I can and can't say to keep her from harm. It's all in her eyes, and the tight line of her lips, and her furrowed brows, the hurt. It's just off to a wonderful start. First my case, now Becca. Let's tell the truth anyway. I mean, we're off the case anyway. Obviously, I couldn't just say, hey Becca, you know the Wrights? They're suspected to be ringleaders of crime sync and shit like that. Oh no! Are you serious? No! I didn't mean it. Shit! Oh god damn it. Protocol or otherwise, there are so many things I'm not allowed to tell the others. If I'm able to share the information with civilians, knowing anything could very well put them in danger. That's why I keep it vague. Obscure the facts, or when push comes to shove, stretch the truth and lie through my teeth. It's a necessity I've grown to deal with. It's already become part of me, no matter how much I loathe doing it. Oh damn, how low's the relationship bar, by the way? I mean, we're close to like full friends with Zach.
I mentioned it, didn't I? I was there on behalf of someone else. I was on business, Becca. I wasn't there to have a good time.
Doesn't look convinced at all. Although she's the very picture of someone who's at least willing to listen, the glare effectively takes a good 20 off my current years. I feel like a kid again, being reprimanded by my junior high teacher for sleeping in class. Getting away with that is easier than with this one. It's the thing with someone you've been friends with for so long. They're the ones who know you're inside out. Good grades won't be enough for Rebecca to let this whole thing slide.
You can't even spare a single second to mingle?
What was I supposed to say? Hi, fancy meeting you here. Would you like to dance? By the way, those appetizers were really good. You should try some. Like that. I've got a boss guy breathing down my neck. I don't exactly have the luxury of doing as I please.
Yeah, much is true. My reasons for being at the party too. Our chief's presence last time made a lot of things difficult. Approaching them was out of the question when there was someone watching, a person who knew the reason why I was there. It turned out to be a good call on my part. If someone was already angry beyond reason, everything will only sound like an excuse.
Cut the shite. I saw you stuffing your face with the deviled eggs, while your own boss is off on the other side of the room. You didn't even exchange a word or a glance with him either. In fact, I think you're also avoiding the man. Just say you don't want to talk about it instead of lying to my face.
I do feel guilty still. I've already been down this road. This is something I've done so repeatedly in the past. It's something she's heard from me more times than all my fingers could count. It's something I'll just have to get over with at this moment.
I'm sorry, you know that, Becca. I really am. I wouldn't do this shit if I didn't have a good reason to.
And you know that I don't like you lying to me! If you can't tell the truth, just don't say anything and shut your gob! I swear, Ashton Frey, you are just so dense! I'm so angry. I can't even bear to look at you right now because I swear I'll knock you right off your block!
Oh Jesus, she's losing it.
I mean, what good reason could you have to act like an antisocial asshole? The only time you did talk to me was to rail on me about Luke. What was that all about?
What is going on with the friendship tree right now? There are story updates.
Were you somehow expecting me to just accept everything as it is?
You really shouldn't go near that man, Becca.
Why? Because you don't trust him? I wonder if you actually trust anyone. Aside from the three of us, Zach, Isabella, and myself, do you even have any other friends? If you're perfectly fine with that, then go ahead. No one is stopping you. But don't expect me to share the same views. I can have a life of my own. Friends that I don't necessarily share with you. I'm an adult, Ashton, and I can make my own bloody decisions. I sure as hell can choose the people I want to let into my life.
Of course she's allowed to do as she pleases. I never mentioned she couldn't. Us growing up together doesn't mean it always has to be just the two of us. It's a dumb idea to believe in when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change throughout the years. She'll make friends with people outside of our little circle. I'm just as free to form relationships with other people. But why of all people does it have to be him? Why does it have to be Luke Wright? That guy's nothing but trouble. Why can she defend a guy like that? Slowly calling him Luke for Pete's sake.
I trust Zach, I trust Isabella, and I trust you, Rebecca. So why can't you trust me on this? You need to stay away from that man. Because he's... I really wish I could tell you.
What was that saying Isabella mentioned before? A liar is the brother of a thief? People who look at me now will probably say my hair's breadth away from being a criminal. Z-Man said something like that once a few years into our friendship. I left it off back then, but now, they're probably right. Little by little I'm becoming the very kind of person I hate. How ironic. Silence afterwards brings an even a heavier air between us. Something that Rebecca, thankfully, doesn't allow to linger more than necessary.
I suppose you have to go now, huh?
The situation is already awkward as it is. Dragging this out will only make it more... what? Difficult? Messed up? As if it isn't already.
Back to your case again?
I don't really have to. I have no case. As far as the job is concerned, I have the weekend off until I have to report to Chief on Monday. Though I don't want to just throw in the towel on this. Orders are orders. This isn't like the movies. I could say fuck off, throw my gun and badge at him, become some vigilante, say that I didn't get my job back. I had to get my ass thrown in jail to do any of that. But it's also not in my interest to sit still and do nothing. It'll drive me crazy if I just idle about. Besides, there's someone who has to know about this whole Luke Wright thing.
Yeah, I need to go talk to Professor Clark. And there's something else I need to look into.
The other matter she mentioned last night specifically. Same stuff Zachary has also been trying to tell me. Things even the news have been blasting out the general populace lately. Evening, afternoon, morning, all deaths with the same modus, blamed on a single serial killer. Or is it still the case?
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxembourg police.
Grasping at straws as far as the murders are concerned. In the first place, I'm not even the one handling this investigation. You look at me treating it as if it's another high-profile case on my shoulder. How sad is that? Though all three of my friends have mentioned seeing something strange, I don't want to go into that line of thinking for now. Not yet, not until I've exhausted every logical argument I could throw at it. To be honest though, I don't know how to take all of this anymore. I've already given Isabella my word. It'd bother me more if I didn't follow up on the promise I made to her. After Rebecca's claims last night, there won't be enough sarcasm in the world if what my friends have been telling me is true. I already hear Isabella's laughter, in fact.
Figures. What else can it be?
It's not another case. It's something else. That issue Isabella mentioned yesterday morning. I'm sure you remember. You were there.
Well, at least you're not neglecting all your friends.
Becca, I promised her I'll...
She doesn't wait for me to finish. With a roll of her eyes, she turns around and shuts the door in my face. I have no idea what I've said this time, but...
I probably deserve that.
We just have to fix this some other time. By then her temper's sure to have cooled off significantly. Hopefully. For now, I can't laze around. Gotta attend to things that matter more. Professor Clark first, deliver the bad news, and that issue with the BRC and Isabella. Maybe I'll also drop by Zach's, check on him, hear what he has to say. He has also read that damn letter. He's also been saying odd things about a bunch of photographs. I might as well, while I'm here, playing a paranormal detective? Or supernatural? I can't remember. Whatever, it won't hurt anyone if I try to get to the bottom of this. Anything new? Rebecca confronted Ashton about what happened at the party the night before, and they were telling the details that Lara chose to stretch the truth. Led to another argument and ended with Rebecca slamming the door closed on them. When nothing comes out of this good, everyone can shut up about stupid curses and we can finally get back on track with our lives. Or more important stuff. You saw the ghost last night in the party. That's still not enough for you, Ash. There is something.
Are you two done?
There's a moment of confusion when you don't see her familiar ponytail about. You need to find her standing behind the door of her apartment seconds later. Isabella holds it open, though only slightly, as if to hide from anyone who might happen to pass by. This early on a lazy weekend, I doubt anyone would. From the gap and what little there is behind her, you can make out the appearance of someone who has just clearly gotten up from bed. Hair in complete disarray, eyes still heavy with sleep, and a small pout on her lips. She hasn't even got out of her pajamas. I look away long before my sense of decorum kicks in. We might be friends. I'll even dare say we've grown closer over the years. That doesn't extend beyond the bounds of propriety. Christ, even Rebecca never greets early visitors in sleep clothes. But maybe it's our fault why she's up this early. Still, the heat makes a slow crawl up my neck, one that I quickly downplay with a solid cough.
Isabella, you're up early.
Lame.
No, I'm not. I'm usually up at this hour. You're the one that usually sucks at getting up early.
Says the person who looks like she's just fallen out of bed.
Instead of the usual quip, she simply averts her gaze to some point beside her. And although it only flashes briefly across her face, an expression of hurt flickers in her eyes. Disappears the second she turns her attention back to me, but the moment she has sent a worried twinge in my stomach. I've seen it on her plenty of times before, just never in a manner that themselves. Feels, I don't know, off this time? I didn't say anything wrong, did I?
Hey, are you...
Anyway, was that Becca with you? You both sound like Mama and Papa when they fight. You're awfully loud. If we get another memo from the landlady, I'm asking the guard to ban you from ever entering this place.
Me? Becca's the one almost shouting.
Yeah, well, she lives here. You don't. You have no excuse. You're the suspicious-looking person.
Thanks. Glad at least one person appreciates how I pretty up this place.
Don't flatter yourself. This place would be so much better without having to see your face every few days.
She follows up with another pout. Oh, my throat is absolutely killing me. I need to drink. Oh, damn it. I didn't mean to hit that. Oh. But her ruffled appearance, particularly how puffy her eyes are, noticed just now, takes away from the intimidating effect she's trying to show. Really, right now, she just looks more like an angry puppy. Might have laughed had it not given me another nagging sense that something's definitely wrong with her. What? Has she been crying earlier? That is worrying. She rarely does that. The only time it happened? The only time I've ever seen her genuinely tear up over something? It was after Devil in Court, now at the bridge. I want to ask. She seemed determined to keep it to herself, though.
Belle, did something?
About yesterday, Ash. The things we talked about. Do you think we can take a look at it today?
We? I never said you're coming with me. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. You'll be the first to know if I find anything.
No, I want to go with you. I'll be ready in a few. This won't take long.
Isabella, you really don't have to. I can handle it on my own. You'll just...
I won't get in the way, I promise. Besides, maybe I can help. You know, if there are files you want to check.
I don't like what she's implying. It's true LPD is having a hard time with this, but taking Isabella with me? It's out of the question, under normal circumstances.
You're the one who's going to get in trouble if you do that.
You said it yourself. You need information, and I can help you get that. And it's not like it matters anymore. I just don't want to stand around doing nothing today.
There it is again. A slight shift in her eyes, the mild crease forming between her eyebrows, and the mild slump in her shoulders when she crosses her arms tightly around herself, like she's shielding herself from whatever painful thing there is out there. I have plenty of reasons why I shouldn't let her tag along. First and foremost, she's a civilian. Second, I have no concrete plan of action, yet. I'm going into this blind. No matter how I look at it, it's simply better for her to just wait so she won't drag into what might be another one of my failures. Her assumptions might be a dead end for all we know. But seeing that expression on her, hearing her speak the words out loud, a desperate, almost pleading tone, I can't bring myself to say no. So I give in because right there I see myself in her. The person who doesn't want to stay idle, who doesn't want to think of the problems haunting him.
Alright, 5 minutes.
What? You're timing me?
Well, I can't wait forever. I'm a very busy guy. 4 minutes and 45 seconds, Isabella.
I hate you so much. I'm taking back what I said last week. You haven't changed at all.
4 minutes and 30 seconds, 29, 28. I'd hurry if I were you.
Ugh, you're awful! I hope you never get a girlfriend.
She slams the door right after, although my chuckles, the mirth, and the lightness in it linger. With her, those have always come easy somehow, even as it echoes, fading the only ghost of a smile remains.
It's not like I'm looking for anyone else.
I want to tell her. Ooh, what's new? Oh, there it is, in her pajamas. Okay, I want to tell her. It's not because I can't. I won't. I'm the one who has chosen not to until I fixed myself. Until I found myself underneath all that guilt and those lies I've been telling all these years. Because no matter how heavy the weight of these feelings are, I'm not yet worthy of them. Of her. Until then, little words and gestures are the only things I can offer. Minor stuff such as digging deeper into this thing, BRC, in order to ease her worries. I'm not even sure if this will give us anything. Like with the firm case, which I already have proper leads on, she's going by her word on this. Speaking of the Looksborn firm case, I still have to inform the professor. The apprehension is there for sure. I made a lot of promises to the man, and I would prefer to tell him in person, not over the phone. It's better for him to hear it from me rather than from a stranger. The railings offer steady support while I wait for him to answer. I like to think I can do this without losing my nerve. My grip on the bar suddenly tightens though, once the call connects.
Ashton.
Not running today, Professor?
He's usually at the park on late Saturday mornings, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs. Keeps him young and healthy, he says. Certainly fit for a man of his age with a sedentary job.
Oh no, not today.
He's definitely at the usual place, though. Cheers and laughter likely from children and families, filtered through the receiver. Tends to avoid the park precisely because of this. I'm just reminding myself of the could-haves when it's already over. Mom's doing well with her career, Dad's also fine the last time I visited, although neither remarried. They're both content with their lives as it is. Probably the only ones to look up with it, hence my aversion. But all in all, it's still a pleasant sight to see if you're the kind who takes joy in such sights like Professor Clark does.
Just thought I'd enjoy the nice weather before it takes a turn for the norm again. To what do I owe the pleasure?
The guy certainly seems happy right now in any case. I almost don't want to break the news to him. But it's better to get this off quick as long as he doesn't shoot the messenger. He's not the type. However long held resentment can change a person, even someone as mild mannered as the professor.
I was hoping to talk to you about the case.
I suppose I'm just a downer today. As soon as I say those words, he pauses and the lightness in his voice is gone in an instant. Every time we've talked about this in the past, he does that. He's probably trying to gauge the situation based on the tone of my voice. Perhaps it's good timing him delivering this news through the phone. Who knows what he'll see in my face and my mannerisms. You are of keen observation? I learned it from the man. He probably already has an idea what it might be about, from my manner of speaking alone.
You aren't in trouble, are you?
For a second I hesitate, looking at the dirt beneath my shoes. But I manage eventually. After a long, ragged draw of breath, I pick up where I've left off, though still fumbling with my words.
Well, I'm in a bit of trouble, if you can call it that.
Ashton.
He only assumes that tone when there's a reprimand at its heels.
But I'm not in danger or anything.
You've said that same excuse a million times before, Detective Inspector. That exhausted rasp in your voice tells a different story.
It's nothing like what you're thinking. Don't worry. I was taken off the Luxborn firm case.
I expect anger, frustration, maybe even disappointment. All he gives is a small sigh of relief.
Is that so? Well, at least you aren't in danger. Liz wouldn't be too happy if she heard you right now.
Liz. Aunt Liz, she insisted I call her, his late wife. A sweet-tempered woman by so many standards. And were never blessed with kids and contented herself with simply managing their bakery. She's the closest I had to a mom in the few years I had known her. Professor, too. In the absence of my own parents in my life, to fill the ache that their divorce left me.
Believe me, you'd get an earful. You don't want to show up on her doorstep looking like you haven't slept a wink either.
How many years has it been since? 9? 10? I can still remember it vividly. Two men, primly dressed, briefcases in hand, a stern look on each of their faces. There were already frequent visitors to the bakery for a few months, something about the law being prime property in downtown Luxborn. I think they were hoping to settle a deal with them, but neither of the couple gave in to their demands. Why should they? That quaint little shop was a dream for them. All Liz sent me home early that night after a fruitless wait for the professor. Next morning, news of a bakery raced to the ground and spread across the whole city. One casualty. A few weeks later, the property was sold to Wright Enterprise. A fucking hotel now stands in its place. Of course, an investigation was launched after the incident. The name Luke Wright was briefly at the center of it. With the lack of any evidence, the case ultimately went cold. Professor hides it well, however. I can tell he hates the man to this day. He might even blame Luke Wright for every tragedy that happens to the city. He has never blamed me, though, and I'm as equally responsible. I knew something's off the moment those men stepped inside the shop. I could have saved her that night. I could have prevented anything from happening to her. I called for help or whatever. I didn't. So it continues to eat at me until today, the guilt. Luxborn firm case would have been our chance at reopening that old case, if we could prove Luke Wright of his crimes. Instead, we're back to square one. Yet all he asks for me are words of comfort, to think that he can still be this concerned about me after my carelessness, after I've broken another promise a second time. People never cease to amaze me.
You might think that you have failed as an officer. Or maybe you think that you have failed me. And you know more than anyone. I would love to see that man taken down. If anyone deserves to be tried in high court, It's him. But I'm glad nothing's happened to you while you were working on this. That's what's most important. I'd hate to get news like that again.
Suddenly he stops. I imagine a thoughtful look flashing in his eyes as he thumbs the wedding band on his ring finger before he continues. Another habit. He's never removed it since that day. He's never thought once to remarry, even when he managed to continue with his life and return to some semblance of normalcy. It's his way of honoring her, I suppose, but he couldn't bring to justice the man responsible for his loss. Some people, some people are just hard to forget.
It's not like another death. Yours or even his. Will bring back my wife.
Silence falls between us afterwards. I don't quite know what to say after that, really. Should I apologize? Show some sympathy? Going into this, I should have thought of something other than just breaking the news to him. As it is, it seems the only thing we can do is feel sorry for each other's misfortunes.
I apologize too, for putting you up to this.
Another occasion under different circumstances, I might have accepted that, but
You didn't have to, but you've already done more than any officer who has investigated this. So don't worry about this old man. I know your department's people all have their hands full recently too. What with the upsetting news we've been getting as of late. Deaths almost every day. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do with the other. It seems too big even for someone like him. But if this is that man's doing...
Professor, please.
maybe if things around me hadn't started going beyond my control, the letter, the mansion, the supposed curse behind those, it'd still be quick to blame it all on the bastard too. As much as I want to keep holding him responsible for it, to add another to his list of sins, it might not be the case. The ring will only cut a deeper wound on the professor. I don't want him to keep clinging to his resentment for much longer. He has already gone through so many years of it. This kind of anger, it's a sort that blinds people, despises reassurances, the bitterness that seeps into every syllable he utters. It's one thing for me to act like this. It's painful to watch someone I've considered a second father to go down this path.
Please don't apologize. It's really alright. I can try to get it back on Monday when I meet with the chief. No promises, but if not, I'll make sure to keep an ear out for any news. Chief said he's passing it on to a senior officer. I should be able to catch a few tidbits every once in a while. But I swear I won't just give up on this. I'll do everything in my power to get Aunt Liz's case reopened for you.
Promises, again, a bad habit at this point. I wish I could do more for him. All this time I pride myself on being the one to always know. Because suddenly, aside from writing in the murders claiming the city, I have ghosts and curses to worry about. Things are completely out of my depth. Professor Clark's right in some way. Things would be so much easier if we just blamed Luke Wright for all of this. At least finding evidence would be a breeze, and I'd be all too happy to put him in the place he belongs. Though if he was, in any way, also complicit to what's happening, legalities have my hands tied, but maybe that's my fault. I might have missed the ticket to closing the case once and for all last night, if only I had done a better job during the party. But then the commotion. It was Hannah Wright and Rebecca distracted me from my purpose too. Include that gate crasher as well, even though it's only for a moment. So many things had gone wrong last night that...
This isn't a prank! I saw something! See? This is why I didn't want to tell you guys!
he's harking back to what he saw.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me.
He needs to stand right in front of Ashton for him to finally believe it.
If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Last night at the party.
But it's real! What do you think I saw? It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
That woman.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her.
Shit. If that was what Isabella had been warning us about, if it's that same thing Rebecca talked about last night, and what Zach told me about a few days prior, how many of these instances have I dismissed since reading the letter? How many have I ignored and passed off as an effect of fatigue or lack of sleep? Even last night, hallucinogen lacing the food is the first thing I considered, purely because that's what my training dictates. It's a mindset I've grown used to. It's setting the gears in my head automatically takes in a situation like that. Of course, I'm not discounting all of that yet until I have enough information, something to form a conclusion from, proof in whatever form for it may come. But thinking straight is impossible, and all of a sudden, all your beliefs are being upturned. The most violent way possible at that. Jesus, I need a sounding board. I need to talk to someone, and Zach's the best person for that.
I have to go, Professor.
Oh, no problem. But what are you...
I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. Memories? Finally realized he's on something. I don't have time to stop and listen to what the professor has to say as I cut the call short. In the same second, Isabella emerges from her apartment, fully dressed and ready for the day. As usual, she greets me with a smile, but falls just fast when she catches a glimpse of my face. Shame that would have been the first comforting thing I see today. It annoys me that I'm partially responsible for the worried one replacing it. I must look to a picture of someone choking or dying because there's nothing more concerning the first words she speaks.
Ash, are you... Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, I don't, okay? But we should hurry. Come on, don't forget to lock your door.
Seriously, you look like you're about to fall over. Are you alright? Because if you're planning to faint right here, I won't be able to carry you.
Yes, don't mind me. I just remembered some... stuff from last night. I need to talk to Z-Man about this. Mind if we drop by his place first?
Shouldn't we call him? To let him know? It's still pretty early, though we'd probably arrive there around noon. Also, what do you mean about this? Is Zach...
He was also there when I opened the letter, right? He read it too. I'm sure he's fine, but it wouldn't hurt to check on him. To make sure. See if he'll say the same things you told me yesterday.
He's also been seeing things. If it's also the same woman I saw last night.
I'm not saying there's really a curse yet, but we have to look at this from every possible angle. And don't worry, he won't mind. He's probably just watching TV right now. Let's go.
Okay, but speak up if you're not feeling well. You really look like you're choking on something. You didn't have to do this for me in the first place.
You know it's not as simple as that.
Head down to my car in record time. Not a single second wasted to hit the road to drive to Zach's place. If any one of us, other than Isabella, who knows anything about what's going on, who can help sort the muddled mess my mind is, it's got to be him. He listened to her. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save this video here. Ashton is finally coming to grips with what the hell is happening around him, and so far I can kind of sympathize with the guy. A divorce of your parents, when especially you're like very young, it can affect a child so much. You can actually see that happening within Ashton, but I can't wait to see his actual reaction when he actually meets the ghost face to face, because like every other character in this game as well, Ashton does meet the ghost as well, only under completely different circumstances, but in a familiar fashion as well, and you'll see why in the next episode. So, without further ado, that's it for this video. Thank you all who watched, and hopefully, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!